What's up, guys? Raptors pulled the win 144-123 to the Sacramento Kings. Didn't look good early. Going back and forth with Zane during the game after the first 43-35 for the Kings. Second didn't start off much better. It was like 75, 71 and a half or something like that. And looked like the same kind of game for the Raptors, to be honest. Terrible defensively. Now, Sacramento, like I said earlier when I did my 1 minute kind of pregame, I was saying that Sacramento is a terrible team defensively, and but one of the best rebounding teams in the league. And Raptors caught fire. Raptors 4 guard today. Let's go. Not okay. Norm 2. Norm 6'4", but Fred, Kyle didn't play. Raptors still like 8-0 without Kyle in the lineup. Mind blowing, right? Malachi Flynn finally got some minutes. Terrence Davis, both those guys really good today. And Siakam, 17, 9, and 12, just the 1 rebound away from a triple-double. Didn't look really like he was in the flow of the game, but still had a good game. 7 for 11, shot a good percentage. Some questionable decisions at times, but like I said, the Raptors ended up getting the win. Chris Boucher, 23 and 10. We know that he can't play against guys like Embiid, and there's just certain matchups he's not going to do too well against. Now, Hassan Whiteside, I'm going to have to go back and check. I didn't see him check in the game at all. Didn't play a minute. Kings probably could have used him a little bit because the Raptors kind of had their way in the paint. But, to no avail. And I talked about the Raptors not being a good team, and it was just statistically a fact. This team was 1-6 going into today's game, and the only team in the league with 1 win. Now 2-6. And tied with Detroit, who actually, you know what? Detroit won today. So it's showing 2-7 on the app, and I'm pretty sure they're 3-7. Washington lost. Minnesota also 2 wins. Still Raptors in the bottom of the standings across the league, 2-6. But I guess something to build on for the Raptors. Schedule, like we have mentioned multiple times, not really getting too much easier at Golden State, who I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Came back and had a huge win against the Clippers when they were down like 20, 25 points the entire game. And Steph Curry looking like the old Steph Curry. I don't know why everybody was kind of shitting on him for the longest time. He has like not much help there. It's really hard to watch Kelly Oubre play, but I'll get back to that. Back to the Raptors. Look good. Fred, incredible. I think Fred's going to be an all-star this year. He was, I guess, a snub last year. With Kyle missing some games, he was thrown in there and, was averaging, I want to say like 18 or 19. Fred should average close to like 22, 23 this year because he's, I think by far their best shooter of guys that is going to play consistent minutes, not including guys like Matt Thomas, but really good in the pick and roll, really good when he sets his feet to get the 3 off. And of course he's going to have his bad game shooting. And Raptors fans kind of need to understand that when guys are having bad games, like people like to rag on Kyle or Fred when they're having bad games. As long as it's not habitual and taking a lot of bad shots, that's fine. This is going to happen, and this is just part of basketball in general. You're going to go through some stretches where you're not shooting the ball great. But Fred always, and I made a video earlier, getting to the rim, and even if he's not, throwing up shots at the rim, collapsing the other team's defense, sucking guys inside, kicking it out to other teammates, and then, putting it in their hands to get open shots or maybe create something on a switch. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I want to give credit where credit's due. Like I said, Fred was great. Norm bounced back today. Like I said, he was due for a game. This is probably by far his best game of the year. And who else? Len started the game. Didn't do too much. Like I liked his defense. Not going to give you too much offensively. I don't think he saw the floor after he started and was subbed out early in the first. But yeah, Boucher, if the matchup is in his favor and it's not too bulky of a center, he's going to play. He's going to block some shots. He's going to shoot the 3. He's going to alter a lot of shots as well. His defense pretty decent. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it for the Raptors. Positive note, end up winning today. Schedule coming up. You got Golden State on Sunday, back-to-back, going to Portland on Monday. 2 games with Charlotte, and then it gets kind of tough, right? You got Luka Doncic in Tampa, home game. 2 games in Tampa again against the Miami Heat. Going to be tough. Traveling to Indy for 2, They look damn good. Brogdon, Sabonis, TJ Warren's out, but like that entire team it has been, just out of their minds. Your Miles Turner having a bounce back season as well. Milwaukee lost again tonight. They got them coming up in Sacramento, two in Orlando, and then Brooklyn and Atlanta. No easy games on the sched. I said a bunch of times earlier that it's going to be challenging every game. No easy games this season for the Raptors. And hopefully guys can get their groove back. I was saying some comments as well. The guys seeing the ball go through the hoop today scored 144 points. Everybody was, really nobody that touched the floor was bad today. Everybody saw the ball go through hoop, and hopefully their confidence is going to be a little bit higher going into the next game. So hoping that the Raptors can kind of continue with that. I still don't think that this team is much of a contender. That's not really saying much, but they could sneak into the playoffs. Like I said, they are last place in the Eastern Conference. So there are a lot of teams to jump in a short amount of time with a 72-game season. Is it out of possibility? Is it out of their chances? No, I don't think so. Like they could actually come back and maybe make 8th spot, but it is going to be really hard. Starting off 2-6, got to play probably like win 60% of your games going forward. That's going to be really tough. But we're going to watch. We're going to continue. We're going to kind of critique and point out the good and the bad with the Raptors, like I've done. I don't want to come on here and shit on the Raptors. I'm just going to call it like it is. Talking though about Golden State and the Clippers. Don't want to do Raptors all the time, but I will mention them, like I said, when they were playing games. Paul George today was put up some stats. I'll go through the numbers. I'll pull it up as I'm going off, but just there's a lot of plays that you see with guys on the Raptors that make winning plays. Things that aren't necessarily in the scoreboard, hedging on screens, closing out on guys, altering shots, going after loose balls. This Clippers team, and Igor kind of touched on this before, when they took Golden State to 7 games 2 or 3 years ago now, whenever I think Durant was there last, I guess it's one of those 2 or 3, that team was like a worker mentality kind of guy, put on your hard hat, boots, go to work. They don't have that anymore, and I said that last year. Now, I want to preface this by saying that before the bubble happened, I was confident, and I'm not confident that the Clippers were going to win the championship. Bubble happened, guys didn't end up liking each other, and it's been all kind of downhill from there. Now, some guys have left like Harrell and such, but this is still a team that's kind of working on their, not character issues, but just working on figuring everything out. Now, this loss today, does that mean anything in the grand scheme of things? No, they split 2 games in Golden State, but just the way that you lose games. Doc Rivers was out, Tyronn Lue came in, both pretty solid coaches, but I'm looking at Kawhi's body language during the game after Paul George went one-on-one. So Golden State went on a crazy run. Let's say it was like 15-3 or something, and Paul George obviously rattled. Kawhi was out of the game, and he has Wanamaker on him, and he goes ISO on him with like 15 seconds on the shot clock, and pretty much loses the ball. Continues to pull an LA Fitness. Any of you guys that play basketball and someone's running their mouth at you in a pickup game, doesn't matter if there's 4 other guys on the court. You're not doing anything. It's like, it's me and the defender. I got to do something, right? The man forgot about the shot clock. He didn't get the shot off in time, did way too much dribbling. This was not the end of the game. There was still, 7-8 minutes left in the 4th, and didn't get the shot off. The shot clock goes off. Ended up being a nice step back swish, but, just unaware of what's happening. And these are just plays that championship kind of teams and players don't make. I was listening to Richard Jefferson on the Low Post podcast, and he kind of talked about Paul George coming in his career as like a 13th or 14th pick, overachieving, showing some great strides with the Pacers early when he had those battles with the Miami Heat and LeBron. And then, to what's kind of transpired since he's left there with OKC and now with the Clippers and way off P from playoff P. And it's just, he's going to be judged based on the 83rd game and going forward in the playoffs. The regular season is not really a question. He's going to end up averaging, your 27 and 3 or something like that, shooting 40% from the 3-point line. But it's just, you need to see guys, and we saw this with the Raptors, with guys like Kyle and DeMar before the playoffs happened. You might still get your numbers, but these demoralizing losses and regular season, that loss to Dallas, I don't know what to say. Like championship teams don't lose that bad, and I know that Kawhi was out, and that wouldn't have happened if he was there. But I just don't see any balls, any resilience fighting through adversity with this team, and it really worries me as a long time Clippers fan. Um, Now, do I feel as attached to the team, or do I feel as attached to the team as I did before? No. Ever since Kawhi got there, I haven't felt that same kind of connection with them. But for LA fans, anyways, to get back to it, the Lakers working out some kinks. Like with LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're really resting for the playoffs. They're going to get a top 3 seed. They'll be fine with Schroeder and Harrell there. Plenty of scoring to go through even when those guys are off. They ended up squeaking out a win today against Chicago, who's been really good. I'll talk about them with Igor. But yeah, no, worried about the Clippers. Don't know if they have what it takes just based on the guys they have on their team. Kawhi will really have to put his team on his back and do like a miraculous job with these guys in the playoffs, because you know that when the playoff comes, Paul George is just not going to be that top level guy. He hasn't shown it through like 10 years of his career. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for today. Big win for the Raptors to go to 2-6, and gonna be paying attention to their road games coming up, and we will talk about that and the rest of the NBA with Igor tomorrow on Saturday. I'll have that podcast up for you guys later. Have a good night. Congrats, Raptors, and let's celebrate.